Hello everybody, my name is Nerdy Lover and welcome to another episode of our football betting show here on YouTube, Serie A edition. And thank you for tuning in to the Serie A because from last month, which was September, we did have a bit of a torrent time. Please check out those videos to find out exactly what went wrong. But this month, Operation October is all about building up that equity in Serie A again. And as you can see from the green in our little win-loss column, we did pick up 2 wins. So let's quickly recap them before we get into the bets for this weekend's episode, the 8th and 9th of October. On the first, Napoli managed to beat Torino with relative ease before AC Milan secured our win, as they did leave it late to win 3-1 against Empoli. They were pegged back in the 90th minute to draw 1-1 before scoring in the 95th and 97th to give us that win. We did pick up 31.69 there, which is quite nice. And on the Sunday, Sassuolo managed to do the job against Salernitana. We got amazing odds of 1.1. £20 stake did return £22. 2 bets from 2 were 100%, and we did pick up 53.69, which will make a dent in our losses from September. So we're off to a good start. Let's keep it going with our selections in this episode. We kick off our selections with one of the biggest games in Italy. 5th place AC Milan hosts 7th place Juventus, and AC Milan picked up another 3 points against Empoli. As we mentioned in the recap, they were pegged back in the 91st minute before putting the game to bed very late on to win 3-1. This does mean that Milan have 9 points in their 4 home games so far this year. When we look at the visitors Juventus, they have yet to win on the road, only securing 1 point from 3 away fixtures. That being said, Juventus did beat Bologna 3-0 last weekend, so things are starting to turn around for the old lady. Looking at the key statistics, Milan averaged 2 goals per game from 2.9 key chances created, and they're only conceding 1.1 goals per 90. Juventus, on the other hand, score 1.5 goals per game from 1.9 key chances, which is clinical, if not overly creative. But Juventus do have pride in their defence, as they do concede only 0.6 goals per game. Whatever happens here, I can't see many goals. 4 of the last 6 games involving Juventus have seen under 2.5 goals. I do like Milan, but I would exercise a bit of caution in backing them because they do play a big midweek game against Chelsea in the Champions League, whereas Juventus have the slightly easier task of Maccabi Haifa. Under 2.5 goals is the key for me here at roughly 4 to 5. If I had to pick a winner, it would be AC Milan, narrowly, perhaps by 1-0. But I'm staying away from the moneyline market. We're going to be taking under 2.5 goals in what I predict will be quite a tense affair. Our second selection for today's episode sees 10th place Torino hosting 15th place Empoli. Torino were beaten comfortably by Napoli at the weekend, and their form was poor before the international break, but we do need to rationalise that by looking at the teams that they have lost to this season, that being Napoli, Inter Milan, Atalanta and Sassuolo. They have picked up wins against teams in the lower third of the table. Key wins against Lecce, Cremonese and Monza. Now answer this question for me. Are Empoli as a team closer to Napoli or to Lecce? That should give us a good barometer that we think that Torino will probably pick up a win here. We do need to look at the away side, Empoli, though. They did lose in painful style, conceding twice in stoppage time against AC Milan. So morale will be quite low in the dressing room. They only have 1 win from 8 games, so those points against Milan would have been vital. Both Torino and Empoli score and concede at a clip of roughly 1 goal per game. However, Torino create almost double the chances. I've made the case, so all I need to do is back the stake now. We're going to be taking Torino to win at home against a struggling Empoli side in bet number 2. Rolling on with bet number 3, and we have a top-of-the-table clash here. 3rd place Udinese hosting 2nd place Atalanta. Udinese continued with their winning ways at the weekend, beating Hellas last time out. This is now their 6th win in a row, unbeaten in their last 7. Udinese are scoring 2.1 goals per 90 and conceding a goal each game for an average of 3 goals per game throughout the season. However, over the last 3 games, this number has ballooned to almost 4 goals per game. Looking at the away side, an unbeaten Atalanta are the visitors today, coming off their 1-0 win against Fiorentina over the weekend. Atalanta have won 5 of their last 6 games, and without looking at the numbers, you would assume that Atalanta are a solid team in terms of the over 2.5 goals market. However, looking at games this season, only one of their 7 matches has seen over 2.5 goals. Last season, they averaged nearly 3 goals per game, so perhaps they will return to their regular form after the international break. When we look at the head-to-heads, there has been some turbulence and unpredictability, which you love to see as a neutral. Last game finished 6 goals to 2, and in fact, 5 of the last 8 head-to-head matches finished with over 3.5 goals. Also, over 2.5 goals came in 3 of the last 4 games where Udinese have hosted Atalanta. Additionally, each of the last 6 games saw both teams to score between these two sides, and I'm thinking if both teams score in this one, it won't take too much of a stretch for these high-scoring, high-powered offenses to find a third goal in the game. We're leaning towards over 2.5 goals, and we're going to enjoy a goal fest here in bet number 3. Our fourth and final selection for today's episode sees 11th place Fiorentina hosting 4th place Lazio. And Fiorentina's loss to Atalanta last time means they've only won 1 in the last 7 games. Do have to rationalise that by pointing out there are 3 draws in there as well, but it's mid-table form and they're 11th in the table. Lazio, the visitors, have won back-to-back games by 4 goals to 0, most recently against Spezia. This does mean that the side from Rome are now unbeaten in 3 games and only suffering a defeat once domestically so far this season. This is an interesting one for sure because Fiorentina are unbeaten at home through 4 games to this point in the season. Similarly, Lazio are unbeaten on the road. When we look at the head-to-head record, Lazio have won 5 of the last 6 encounters straight up. They've only lost 1 in the last 11 matches against Fiorentina. Statistically this season, Lazio are outperforming Fiorentina, scoring 2.1 goals per game from 2.3 key chances created, and only conceding 0.6 goals per 90, with 4 clean sheets in this time. Fiorentina, in contrast, only managed 0.9 goals per game from 1.1 chances created. They do concede less with 1 goal per game. They do have a respectable 3 clean sheets. And it is this respectable defensive record which is holding me back from backing Lazio on the road here. I think I'm going to be conservative. I'm going to lay Fiorentina. They are the home team here, but with Lazio avoiding defeat in 92% of the last 12 games, I do fancy them to pick up at least a point here on their travels. Final bet of today's episode is Lazio double chance or lay Fiorentina on the exchange market. So there we have it, 4 selections across this weekend. We've got games on the Saturday, the Sunday and the Monday evening. Starting things off in Milan, they play Juventus and we're hoping for under 2.5 goals. Odds of almost 4 to 5. A £20 stake should return 15.60. Moving on to the Sunday now, we do have another single. It is Torino-Empoli, and we're thinking that Torino can get the job done against one of the struggling sides in this league. Odds of 0.84, £20 stake to return 16.80. Next up, we do have Atalanta and Udinese. Atalanta's goals have dropped off a little bit this season, but I'm thinking they can refine their form against a high-powered Udinese offense. Odds of about 9 to 10, £20 stake to return £18.80. And finally, on the Monday night, Fiorentina hosts Lazio. And we're thinking that Lazio will do enough to get at least a point in this game. We're going to lay Fiorentina at the shortest odds of this episode at 0.64, £20 to return 13. So across the weekend, we're going to be risking 4 lots of 20, £80 to try and pick up 64.20. Will we do that? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into next episode. But if you did make it to this point in the video, please leave a like down below. My name's been Nerdy Lover, and as always, have yourself a lovely day.